Hey guys, Dr. Norm. Wanted to talk about a topic here, and then I'm gonna give you a book recommendation at the end of this. In chiropractic school, you guys are taught technique. You're taught science, philosophy, and art of chiropractic, but you're taught very little about running a business. And I know there are business classes, but they are inadequate, very inadequate. And most of the people who are teaching those classes either aren't in business anymore, or they might have been successful back in like the 70s or the 80s. And the world is completely different now, as far as running a business, as far as marketing, as far as patient interactions are concerned. Anyway, the concept that you guys need to understand is just being able to move a bone and just being able to be good at the art of chiropractic is not enough to run a business, and it is not enough to make you successful. Patients actually expect a certain level of competency from you. You know, they don't come into you saying, "Oh wow, I really hope this guy can move my T6." They expect you to move T6. They're paying for you to move T6, so you need to know how to do that already. They're not going to be impressed with the fact that you can move a bone. They expect you to move a bone. The aspects that you guys are undertrained in are all the business aspects of it. So the managerial stuff, the entrepreneurial stuff, all of that stuff you guys are severely lacking in your training, unfortunately. And I think that's one of the main reasons chiropractors fail. You're pumped up and thinking, I've gotten really good at moving a bone. I go to all these technique seminars and I'm really good at it. So I'm going to get this place. I'm going to turn on my open sign, and I'm going to, we're all taught these little phrases like there's no secret. It's just a lot of satisfied patients. That's my secret to success. Well, how do you get those patients in the door in the first place to get them satisfied with your care? That all goes along with business training, which you guys don't get much of. So, long way of saying, just because you are good at the technical aspect of your craft does not ensure your success. If I can use a different example, let's say you're a really good, well actually I'll use this example. A good friend of mine is she makes cupcakes, and it's just her hobby, and every time we have a party and she brings these cupcakes and everybody says, you really just need to start a bakery, and you really need to have your own cupcake shop and all this stuff, and they're really pumping her up to think being good at making cupcakes means you could run a successful bakery, and it has nothing to do with that. So just because you're a good cook doesn't mean you can run a restaurant. Just because you might be good at cutting hair doesn't mean you could own a salon. Those things are vastly different. And for most of us in the chiropractic world, we want to move the bone. We want to do the adjusting. And we don't necessarily like doing all that other stuff. We don't like being the entrepreneur. We don't like doing payroll. We don't like filing insurance. We don't like going out and doing spinal screenings, all of this marketing stuff. We just say, it would be awesome if I could just sit back and patient just came in and all I could do was just adjust all day. That would be awesome. That ain't what it's like in the real world, especially if you're going to run your own business. So if you are the business owner, or even if you're an independent contractor, there's a lot of stuff that you have to do that is not just sitting back and adjusting spines. Okay? So long ramble about that, but let me get to the book recommendation, because I know this author can explain it a lot better than I can. His name is Michael Gerber, and he wrote a book called The E-Myth Revisited. He's written a lot of other books since then. He actually has one called The E-Myth Physician, which I would recommend. I think that's a very, very good one for chiropractors, because it talks more about running a doctor's office. In that book, just to kind of give you a quick overview, he breaks down 3 major roles in running a small business, and it's E for entrepreneur, M for manager, and T for technician. So the whole E-myth in the title, he's saying that the entrepreneurial myth is that if you are good at the technician's work, you're good at the technical work, then you could run a business. That's the myth, and it is not true. So he goes as far as to say most small businesses are started by technicians suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure. It's, again, back to the cooking analogy. Let's say I'm a cook in a restaurant, and I see how much the restaurant is making per week, and I see how much I make there per week as my salary, and I'm like, this is this is stupid. Like, the restaurant's making so much money. I'm doing all the work. My boss is an idiot. I could totally do this. I could do this better than he can. And then I go out and I try to open my own business, and then I learn a quick lesson that the success of a business has very little to do with the technical work that's done in that business. Okay, so that's a good book for you guys to check out. What I would recommend is actually looking it up on YouTube and listening to a couple of comments or even book reviews about the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And then if you like it, then go ahead and buy the book. Okay, so we'll get into other book recommendations later. I think there's a lot of sales and business conceptual things that you guys need to learn, and I've got good book recommendations on that as well. But right now, check out the E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. Okay, so if you have any questions, leave them below, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.